Hi everyone, thanks again for watching. It's really nice to have you here, and today's video is just going to be on a question that I get asked all the time, and that is, what do you use to record your videos with? What gear do you use? How do you set it up? All those questions. Before I go into that, I thought maybe this might be a good opportunity to talk about it from a very basic level, and then we can get into the gear that I use, and then we can also get into how I edit the videos and how I record the sound and accessories and things like that. So I'm going to do that over probably a little couple of videos over a series, and hopefully you'll enjoy it. So I do suggest, if you get a chance, please subscribe, click on the little bell icon to get notifications, because these videos will be coming out fairly shortly. But for now, let's talk about the basics. So what can we start with? Right now, you know how to play your synths, whether it's in the box or using hardware, and you know probably already, I'm guessing, how to record it. So otherwise you probably wouldn't be a musician of some sort of caliber. If you don't know how to record it, that could be a completely different video, but let's assume that you do. Right, so I'm going to suggest, as a very, very basic video tool, to use a mobile phone or a cell phone if you're from the US, because they come with a camera, and the camera has a video on them. And a very, very basic level, you can turn your camera on, get it into video mode, and you can see it will record. And I guess, you could stand there and hold your camera with one hand and try and be the one-handed bandit. But let's be honest, that's probably not professional. And the other side of it that's probably not professional is the audio. The audio built into the mic on this thing is not going to be anything decent. So what I suggest you do is maybe solve those two problems first. And I think then that we'll achieve what I would classify as my recommended basic setup. So we're going to start with the phone. Now this could be an iPhone, or this is a Google Pixel, or you could have a Samsung. There are plenty of phones out there that have got built-in video cameras. I suggest that you get one that does pretty decent resolution, so at least full HD or 1080p or better. This one does 4K. It doesn't have to be 4K, but people like 4K. Then what I suggest you get is something to hold the phone, because you don't really want to have one hand constantly on the phone, because you'll forget about it and your videos will be jerky, as I said before. So get yourself a little clamp like this one. This one is spring loaded, so it fits a couple of decent types of widths of phones. It doesn't fit anything smaller than that, obviously, and there are smaller versions if you've got a smaller phone. But basically what you want to do is you want to get your clamp on, make sure it's not touching any of the buttons along the side. And in my case, I've got an annoying volume control right here in the middle, so my clamps are always going to be slightly off skew. Now this particular clamp actually has a tripod mount thread on it, so that's my next recommendation, is to get yourself a little tripod, and it can be a big camera tripod from a tripod shop if you want to just stand it on the side of your desk while you're gigging, or it can just be a little one that mounts on the desk itself, like this one. And this one will give you some decent leverage, remembering that your camera is on the back side usually of the phone, and so you want to mount this in a position where it's not going to get in your way, but you're going to get a nice shot of the gear that you've got. So that's probably pretty good there. And I can play, and the footage is coming out nicely on the camera. It's still not done. The next thing I recommend you get is some sort of audio input adapter. Now, I feel sorry for people who've got the new iPhones because of this this new dongle business that Apple are trying to milk us for more money. But the older iPhones still have the 3.5mm jack on them, and you'll need a 3-ring or TRRS input. What that does is it splits up headphones and a mic in, and the mic in's red in this case. This is just a cheap one that you can get from your local electronics shop. And then you are going to plug that into your phone, and then you're going to plug your synth into there. The reason why you need to have audio on your phone, not through the microphone, is it's a better quality. And you can do it straight out of the synth, or if you've got a mixer, if you've got multiple bits of gear, you can do it straight out of your audio interface on your DAW. So as long as it's got some sort of way of getting that into there, you're good. Now that becomes my minimum recommendation for any camera, is that it must have an audio input of some sort, whether it's a mic in or a line in, some way that you can actually put an external audio source into that camera. And I'll give you an example of a camera that doesn't have one. This is a great camera. This camera we use on holidays, and it's just, you know, quick at making snaps. So it does videos and it does stills, and there's a whole bunch of other cool things about it. But the problem with this camera is that it doesn't have any audio input at all on it. So I can't actually, it does have a built-in mic, which is there in that little hole, but I can't actually plug anything like that into this and record with it. But I can use this as a secondary camera, and I'll talk about that in a sec. So let's go to our recommendation list. For the basic setup, and hopefully this doesn't break your bank, because you know, you guys have already got a phone, that's what I'm assuming. If you haven't, then get one, because you know, mum would like you to call her. You know, it's good to have a phone, and you give mum a call or give your dad a call. They like to hear from you, you know. There's my basic recommended setup. So a tripod, some sort of mount for your phone, a clamp, an audio cable that will take the audio input into your phone and the phone itself, and you're right. That's it. That's all you need, and you can start doing your own little gear videos. And even if you don't put them up on YouTube, you're just doing them for yourself, just to see, like, you know, when you're jamming, how you play. Visual feedback is a great thing. I would also like to sort of take it to the, I guess, the next level, and that is, I like things to be mobile. So in this particular setup, you'll notice that my phone is battery powered, this synth is battery powered, and everything that I've shown you here is actually, you could take it into a park. You don't need any power points. As long as your batteries are charged, you're all good. I would also like to recommend that you record the audio separately. So you have your phone, yes, it's recording on there, but I also think you should get yourself some sort of digital recorder, and a decent one at that. Now, I'm not saying this is a decent one, it's pretty good. It's at bottom of the range, but this will get you in the door. It's got some built-in filters and functionalities that are pretty handy, and it records onto an SD card. There we go. Line out, another cable, there. So line in from the synth, line out into your phone. Sorry, it looks like a mess, but you get the idea. So that way now I can record the audio on here, and I can record the audio with the video footage as a movie file. Now when you do that, that gives you the opportunity now to edit the audio on here, and then later on you can edit the video and you'll have a better sounding audio. You can just edit the audio on your phone, that's possible, but you might not like the phone's built-in audio recorder. It might be not that good. But I find these little handheld recorders are really up there with pretty decent recording. So I like the Zoom products. You can get the Tascam ones as well. They're all pretty good. So now we're doing phone, mount, jack, and audio recorder. This will get you slightly more polished, a professional recording. Now I mentioned before that we could use a second camera, and we can do this with a pretty neat way. So if we set up one camera, on our tripod over here, see, these tripods are just so handy. Look at that, straight in. Turn it on. And you know, this thing has a bit of a zoom feature in it. You can zoom right in. You can set it anywhere you like. Right, so that's all working now nicely. And it's not in my way either. And then you get your phone and you can set your phone up. Make sure you're not touching any of those magic spots. And have your phone sitting in some sort of position. And you have your cables all connected up. Blah, 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 blah. Just pretend I connected all the cables up. Obviously your phone would be mounted and you'd have your recorder sitting somewhere. And let's move this all down so we can see it better. So your recorder sitting somewhere, your phone. I know you got 2 camera angles and you're playing around and you're looking like a real pro now. But the only problem with this camera, as I mentioned before, is it doesn't have an external audio input on it. So what do? We've got audio. Remember, we set this up so it's got audio coming out and audio coming in, and all this side of it's all hunky-dory. But this one doesn't. And in fact, this one probably, because it's all cabled in, won't even hear anything. It's got a built-in microphone. So how are we going to set this second camera up to record so that we can actually get the video footage of both videos synchronized? And that is what I'm going to show you next. What you do is at the start of your video, you make a clap sound like that. And that clap sound will be something that we can use to synchronize the audio on this video with the audio on our other 2 recorded audio and video devices here. When we synchronize that clap sound with all 3, the video footage would actually be the same. And then when we're editing the video, we can switch between camera angles and it looks all kind of really professional. So that's the trick, is to use a clap. I mean, the better way to do it would be to use a camera that has the same audio, an audio input. And so that's going to be, and I think I mentioned it before, my minimum recommendation for any camera, secondary, primary, that it should have, geez, I'm making a lot of noise here. It should have some sort of mic or audio input on it. Like this old Canon Handycam that I've got. This one really is very old now, but it has a mic in. And so I can use this to do some funky footage and I can synchronize it. So my next recommendation is, how do we split the audio up once now that we're going to have multiple devices recording audio? We've got the phone, we've got a second camera, we've got the digital audio recorder, and that's my next recommendation, is get yourself something that you can split a line signal up. Now when I say split, it's the opposite to mix. So this is a handy little one here that you can use. This is the Behringer HA400. I have to say it's pretty basic. There's better ones than this. So I find this a bit noisy, to be honest. But remember, if you're recording onto your digital recorder, any noise that you're getting out of these things is going to come out the back side of this from the line out. So the line out will go into the input on here. And then it gives me now 4 channels that I can have audio coming into, and I can have up to 4 cameras hanging off of this, which is pretty cool. So I don't know if you noticed, but a lot of the videos that I do actually have, 3 or 4 cameras and camera angles on them. And so that will be probably enough for this video. The next video I'm going to show you is how we can actually do a recording, and we're going to use the I don't know, I'll just probably pick one of my cameras. So maybe we'll get a GoPro or something like that, and we'll do a recording on it, and I'll show you how I edit it and how I merge either a DAW recorded or even a digital recorder recording, and I put them together. And we're going to go and use some video editing software. So thumbs up if you like this. Please share it and subscribe. Obviously you want to subscribe because it'll tell you when the next one's coming out. There's, like I said at the start, there's a plan to do quite a few of these. I'm going to do multi-camera ones. I'm going to show you what gear I use currently. I'm going to show you what gear I've got planned to get, and we'll share the love. That's what I think. I'm not an expert at this. I've learned all this on my own. I've asked questions, I've researched, I've watched YouTube videos, but I want to get you guys sharing your music. I want you to show us how you play. I love watching other people play music, and that's how we all learn from each other. And I think if you can have the tools, know how to do it, if I can get you there, then we're all a big happy musician family out there, aren't we? Anyway guys, thanks for watching, and like I said, stay tuned for the next videos and we'll catch you then. Cheers.